So what is a bond? A bond is just a loan that an entity is requesting from you in order to do different things with the money. You're giving money to them, you're lending money to either a corporation, a municipality, state, or even a country, and this entity will just get this lump sum of money from all these different people and use it in different ways. So it's not necessarily an indicator that the entity really needs money or it's in bad shape, economically speaking, when it emits bonds. But most of the time it tends to be the case, but it's not always true, and that's because many entities like to use somebody else's money to do things like roads or buildings, etc., or may not have that huge amount of money required in order to do these projects. So what they do is, instead of borrowing from the bank, they're borrowing from people, and also having less risk for them. So when they do that, when they borrow money from you, they emit the bonds and you buy the bond, you get in return a fixed annual interest rate that normally is higher than any rates that you can get normally on a city or money market. So this is the attractive part of bonds. Now the major risk of bonds is that with any bond, even if or with any loan, if you borrow, your friend wants to borrow money from you, it's the same thing, is that entity runs bankrupt, and then the corporation closes down, for example, and you are with these papers that, although they have kind of obligation to pay you back, even though they are bankrupt, it may not happen, and you may lose your money. So this is the basic risk that you have, but this risk can be mitigated and minimized depending on the kind of bond. So this is what also I'm going to explain this later on this video series, but it's important to understand what is a bond. It's like a loan, and the bonds also have many different aspects and concepts that need to be understood in order to make a more educated acquisition. So it's not as simple as just go ahead and buy a bond. There is many things, like you see here, all these different terminologies that you need to be familiar with before, or I recommend that you're familiar with before you go ahead and pursue or want to buy or invest in a bond. So I'm going to explain all these concepts in this video series, so stay tuned for a detailed description of each of these characteristics that a bond can have.